Hey everybody, I'm Mike. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Pack.
Hey guys, this is Alex joining you again. We're going to talk about some new cards from this wonderful thing they just released, Mystery Boosters.
Oh man, the card pulls in that are just great. Just have to say that.
He showed me some of the stuff he pulled. Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it truly was amazing. We're going to talk about some of the cards. Before that though, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and big shout out to Mind Games, because without them, videos like this wouldn't be possible.
That's right.
So, well, let's just get right into it and see what cards we got from the pack.
Sounds good, man. Cool. Let's do it.
So now we're going to talk about some cards. First one up is a common, which, would you like to pay an extra one for this, Alex?
I would never like to pay an extra one for that, but I want you to pay an extra one for that every time.
I mean, no,
never.
you do.
So the first card we're going to talk about is Ristic Study.
Oh.
It is a common from a very old set, but happily they reprinted it. Ristic Study is a common, but its value is skyrocketed overall compared to other commons just because of Commander, because this card in Commander is very, very powerful.
I've seen you use it a couple times, and the value you get off of it is just nuts.
Yeah, so this one here is whenever an opponent plays a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1 mana. One colorless mana. In Commander games, card draw, I've said it before, is king. Yeah, no, this is an amazing card. What usually happens in Commander, sometimes you have enemies that you like, and there's other ones that are not such a big threat. So if someone that is a threat to you, and you have Ristic Study out, they're usually going to pay to make you not let you draw. But sometimes they have no choice, so you're going to get card draw. But I will tell you this, if this is out, try to pay it as much as you can or blow it up, because otherwise you're going to give the opponent that has this out a huge card advantage and you will probably lose. But if you're playing a blue deck, this is a highly recommended card if you need card draw that's like incremental. Alright, what do we got next?
We got Murder, so don't forget, pay an extra 1 for that.
I will. Murder, just a black common. Great card. Just 2 black, 1 color, destroy target creature. It's really cheap. If you're making it on a budget commander deck, this is a good card for removal. Again, stress the timing of it. Don't try not to use it on your turn, but overall, you always want to have some sort of removal in your decks to shut people down and stop them, or make it so they can't block your cool stuff.
So with black with no counter spells,
yeah,
that's good for that.
Yeah. All right, what we got next?
We have Gurmag Drowner.
What is this? This is a weird card, but it's pretty good. So when this one comes, it's got exploits. It's a 1 blue, 3 colorless, 2/4 Naga Wizard. When it's in its battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. So when you exploit this card, look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. The reason why I picked this card is because sometimes you're going to be playing decks with sack effects and also graveyard recursion. This is a great card for that, because you can sack one of your creatures that has a go in the graveyard effect, get that off, and also mill more stuff into your graveyard to then use later, like flashback cards, other things. And you could say, for example, you milled a really huge Eldrazi into your graveyard, and you had it, and you're playing a Resurrecting deck, and you had Animate Dead that for 2 after playing this. It's amazing. So that's why I wanted to point that out. This is one of those cards that has multiple options, specific for certain types of decks, but overall pretty cool.
So the next card, personally, this is actually going into every artifact deck. It should anyways, which is Sage of Latinum.
Yeah, Sage of Latinum. So it's 1 blue, 1 colorless, 1/2 Human Artificer. It is a good card for an artifact deck. Pay nothing. It's just tap it, sack an artifact, draw a card. Good card, especially if you're playing an artifact deck, you need more draw, and you have a whole bunch of tokens and stuff. You can tap this before the end of someone's turn, or if someone's trying to blow up on your artifacts, at least this gives you a refund, and it gives you more card draw, and it's super cheap, and it's effective. I love these cards in artifact decks.
It's really smart though. Like as you said.
Well, as long as you have the deck constructed the right way, it's a really good card, for sure.
Yeah, card draw is king.
Yeah.
So next is Tectonic Edge, which is a land.
Oh, yeah. I always like to put one. I always like to choose one. I hopefully always pull at least 1 land from the packs, and this is one of the good ones. So when you're playing Magic, some people don't value. Like I don't like blowing up land. Don't get me wrong, that's mean, but sometimes you have to do it. And this one here, it's just taps for colorless mana, but you can pay 1, tap it, sack it, destroy target non-basic land. You can only activate this if they have 4 or more lands. So when you're playing Magic, sometimes they're going to have lands that you're really not going to want to come out and stay out. A good example is Lotus Veil. Taps for 3 mana. They have to sack 2 mana to come out. If you blow up their land with this, they're going to be super pissed at you, but it might win you the game. But there's other lands too that some of them let you regenerate your creatures, give your creatures life, take death touch. This is one of those cards that you want to get rid of that because it's very hard to get rid of lands, and you always want to put a little bit in each commander deck.
See, like with this, I'd rather play, like, because, I mean, I used to play with Land Destruction. I used to play with Armageddon. But I'd rather play this than Armageddon, to be 100% honest with you, because it's not that aggro.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is Tectonic Edge, it might make someone mad, but it can win you the game because it'll save you from a lot of trouble with those lands. A good example of a land to blow up is Homeward Path. Homeward Path is a land you can make everyone gain control of their creatures. So if you're playing any control deck and Homeward Path is out, it's going to really suck because you're going to steal their creatures and then they're going to take them back. With this, you get rid of the Homeward Path and you're good.
Even say if they have a creature that you don't want them to get through with, they have a Rogue's Passage.
Yeah. Get
rid of the Rogue's Passage.
100%.
Yeah. So the next card we got is Exclude. It's a nice little counter spell.
I love counter spells. The reason why I chose this is for a very specific reason. So what this is 1 blue, 2 colorless instant, counter target creature spell and draw a card. So that is a good counter spell. Any counter spell that lets you counter something and also draw a card gives you a refund and keeps your deck in pace. You don't run out of cards. The reason why I wanted to showcase this card is because it is good, but overall I prefer counter spells that either hard counter or can counter non-creature spells, can't be countered, stuff like that. Okay. The reason why I would prefer non-creature counters rather than creature counters is because you can blow up creatures, you can blow up artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers. What you can never blow up is instants and sorceries. And that is, I never used to use counter spells. When I did, that's the one reason I chose to use them, is because if someone casts Time Stretch, Cyclonic Rift with Overload, even if they counter your spell, if you use this creature counter, you can't stop that. But if you use a non-creature counter or any type of hard counter, you can stop anything. And that's very important because instant sorceries cannot be blown up, and you need to stop them sometimes. Otherwise, you will lose.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the next is Feldar?
Felidar.
Feldar Guardian.
Feldar Guardian, yeah.
My pronunciation is just trash. I apologize about that. Let's talk about this little beastie.
So this one here, Felidar Guardian, 1 white, 3 colorless. Cat beast. I love cats. 1/4. When enters battlefield, you may exile another target permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. This is actually part of some Impy combos. I don't like using Impy combos all the time, but sometimes, why not? It'll win you the game. It's like, okay, I'm going to do it. So this one here especially works really well with Planeswalkers. So say you have a Planeswalker and it's almost dead or something like that, and you get this guy out, you can reset that Planeswalker and then use its ability again. So if you use the Planeswalker in your turn, then you cast this, it'll bounce the Planeswalker out back in. You can reuse the Planeswalker's ability again. It's fantastic. You can use it with other come into play effects. It's just, there's ways of actually, if you combo, I'm not going to go over what those are, but I'm sure you can come up with something. But it's a very good card.
Just a little side note on infinite combos. It's beautiful when they work and they come out of left field because you have nothing to do but respect. Like, you just don't expect it. Next thing you know, your infinite combo, and it's like, well, that's the game.
Yeah, and that's why you want to use counter spells.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So the next card we got is Lightning Helix.
Yeah. This is a good card. 1 white, 1 red, instant, deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. I don't like using a lot of burn, personally, but burn is very effective. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not a burn kind of guy. But this is a great card because not only does it deal damage and instant speed to any target, planeswalker, creature, player, also the gain 3 life is just for 2 mana that you can't go wrong. And this is a very good card of using burn, spot removal. It can sometimes just be just enough to stop someone else from winning the game, maybe kill someone, and you can get rid of a lot of annoying creatures with it. So sometimes put burn in your deck.
Yeah, just hope they don't have fork.
Well, you never know.
So the next is Gaia's Blessing, or Gaia's?
Yeah, Gaia's
Blessing. Yeah. Pronunciation, trash, as always.
Yeah.
Well, I know, I'm new to Commander still decently.
Yeah, well, you'll get there. So this is a good card. It's good uncommon. So one of the things I'll talk about is with this card. So what it does is 1 green, 1 colorless, it's just sorcery. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library, and then you draw a card. Its last ability, though, is when this is put in your graveyard from your library, so if you mill it or something, you reshuffle your entire graveyard into your library. So when you're playing certain decks, if you really go off, for example, and you're playing a deck that's very fast-paced, you get lots of stuff out, eventually if someone board wipes you or shuts you down, you're going to need ways of getting the good cards in your graveyard back in your deck. This is one of them. Also, if someone's going to traumatize you, traumatize is a spell that halves your deck, so they mill half your deck in your graveyard. If you have this in your deck, it can reshuffle your entire graveyard when this is milled, so this is a really good anti-mill card. So always try to put some sort of graveyard recursion manipulation in there to make sure you don't run out of the cool stuff and you can come back from the edge of destruction.
Our next card we're going to talk about is Winding Constrictor.
Alright, this one here, 1 green, 1 colorless, 2/3 snake. If 1 or more counters we placed onto an artifact or creature you control, that put that many counters +1 on that permanent instead. Also, if you would get 1 or more counters, you get that many of those counters +1 instead.
So, Animar?
Yeah, that would work really well in Animar, except it's the wrong colors.
Oh.
Yeah, but any type of deck that uses ++ counters, or also if you're playing an experience counter deck, very, very good card. There's a few commanders out there that let you use experience counters. This one here, every time you get 1, you get 2. It increases your pace amazingly, and it's really cheap to cast. Also, if you're playing any ++ counter deck, very good card, and you can easily, quickly outpace your opponents with this. So, yeah.
Alright, so next is an artifact, and it's, well, it's hot soup.
Oh, we're in trouble now. The soup is getting warm. Okay, so this is an equipment. I love equipments. The reason why I love equipments is because if the creature dies, you get to keep the equipment. And that is awesome, especially if you get board wiped, other things like that. They destroy your creature. At least you get this, and the next creature can have the ability. So what hot soup is 1 colorless to cast, 3 to equip. Equipped creature cannot be blocked, but when it is dealt damage, destroy it. So this card is really good because when you're playing Commander, what do you want? You want to get your creatures through. So Hot Soup is cheap, effective, and even if your creature does get dealt damage, doesn't really matter that much. They're going to blow up your creature anyway. But this lets you get through with a lot of things that people don't normally want you to get through with, and it's super cheap to cast. Love equipments.
All right, so the next card has one of my favorite abilities on it, and it's Angel of the Dire Hour, which has Flash. Would you mind explaining what Flash does, Alex?
I love Flash. You know me, timing is everything. Flash lets you cast a spell anytime you have priority. So anytime during someone's turn, if they're doing something, you can respond with this card. It's 2 white, 5 colorless, 5/4 flying Flash. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, exile all attacking creatures. That card, it's very expensive, but late game, this can save your tuchus, okay? So, say someone's attacking you with all the creatures. Just, you've somehow manipulated them into making sure they attack you, or they just have no idea and they just need to swing at you and kill you. This is a great card. You cast that, all the creatures are gone, they'll be left just wondering what the hell happened to them. And it's so good. Plus, it's a flying angel. Love angels. Another thing that's really good against, Insurrection. Insurrection's a red card. Happened to me last night. I got killed by it. So Insurrection is, they cast a spell, they take control of all creatures on the board, and they have haste till on turn. Usually when someone Insurrections, they're going to full swing all the way. This will get rid of every single creature and stop them in their tracks, and you won't die. So use these things well.
I believe that was a Prosh deck too, eh?
It was a Prosh deck. It was brutal.
Yeah, it was actually quite beautiful.
Yeah.
So the next we have Maelstrom Nexus, which is going to cost you 1 of every color, but
yeah,
awesome effect.
5 color decks, super hard to do. Super hard to do. When you're making 5 color decks, be very smart with your mana. Try not to put too many colorless lands in. This is just random tips and has nothing to do with the packs, but just free advice. Yeah. Anyway, what the card does, Maelstrom Nexus, 1 of each color. The first time you cast a spell each turn, Cascade. So Cascade is a very powerful mechanic. What it does is whenever you cast your first spell in a turn, so say you're casting a 5 casting cost spell, if you have Cascade, you will cascade, you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a spell with a lower converted mana cost than the card you just cast, and you get to cast that spell for free. It's so good, especially if you can cast multiple spells in each turn when you have Cascade. This one only lets you do it once per turn, but it's once per turn. If you do it on my turn and your turn, you can Cascade each time. Cascade's powerful, use it when you can, love it.
See, now this is one of my favorite cards. It's the Murari Conjecture, because I love sagas. Every deck I think I have has a saga in it.
Yeah, when sagas first came out, I was kind of confused about them. I wasn't sure how I felt. Overall, I still don't use them much, but in certain decks, they are very, very powerful. So, Murari Conjecture, 1 blue, 4 colorless. As it enters the battlefield, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after the third one's gone off. So, 1 lore counter, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Sorry, just instant card, that's the first one. Yeah. Anyway, so say you use a counter spell early in the game, you cast a fork, you immediately get that back. Awesome. Next ability is return target sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Same idea. Say you use Explosive Vegetation or Harmonize, draw some cards, you have that in your graveyard, you want it back, this thing will get it back for you. It's so good. The last one is the big one. Yeah. Until end of turn, whenever you cast any instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for that copy. So, early game, if you have this in your hand, you're trying to set up your graveyard for the right time, you cast a few sorceries and instants, get them in the graveyard, get them back with this, and then when this one goes in the third one, and the third ability happens, you want to just pop them all off. Just cast Time Stretch, double it, cast Explosive Vegetation, double it, any instant or sorcery, double it, Swords Plowshare, double it. You gotta love it.
I was just gonna say, Time Stretch.
Yeah, Time Stretch. Any time spell. Brutal.
Yep. See, I thought this one was good for Commander, but you corrected me. It's actually...
Yeah, it's a very tricky card.
Yeah, it's called Liches Mirror. It's an artifact.
Yeah, so this is I've never seen this card before until yesterday, but it's a very interesting card, and there could be many uses for it. I don't really see any per se in my playstyle, but it can save your life, literally. So what it does is Liches Mirror. It's 5 colorless artifact. If you would lose the game, instead shuffle your hand, your graveyard, and all permanents you own into your library, then draw 7 cards, and your life total becomes 20. Overall, you see this card and immediately like, oh my god, that's amazing. It's an anti-death spell. Why wouldn't I use that ever? But the reason why this will not really necessarily win you a game is because, say you just got killed. Usually it's because someone's swinging you for a whole bunch of stuff. They have a lot of mana out. They have a lot of permanents out. And then you die. This makes it so that you draw 7 cards, but you have no land out. You have nothing out. So if you just got swung for 20 or 30 damage, you're still going to die.
Well, yeah, if it's like turn 6, you're already outpaced.
Yeah, but there is, I'm sure, many ways of abusing this card. I just don't know of any personally, but I'm sure there are many, few different ways.
Possibly CDEH.
Maybe.
Yeah, most likely. The next one is, I know you're so excited for this.
Oh, I'm so excited, so excited.
It's Stunt Double, one of the best shapeshifters, or should we say clone?
This is one of my faves. I honestly don't own this one. It's on my list. I should own one because I own almost every single type of clone. I clone things so often in Commander games, so standard games, any multiplayer game. I love cloning stuff because sometimes you're not going to have good stuff out, but your opponents usually will if you don't. So cloning things is very important because clones let you copy any creature, or depending on the clone, other things. You can copy them, and then you have one. So you can clone their commander if they have a good commander, then you have one, they have one. They're not going to be happy about that because they don't want you using their cool stuff. This one here, the reason why I love it is it's got flash. So again, flash.
Yep.
Cast it anytime. So yeah, Stunt Double, 1 blue, 3 colors, clone anything. So this enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature in play. And it's at flash. So many ways you can abuse this card. So many ways. Yeah. Say someone's attacking you with a big, huge creature, you can just instantly clone their creature and they'll both die. Or if you have an enchantment or something out that makes your creature slightly bigger, you instantly clone their cool card, block with it, and theirs dies and yours stays alive. And there's so many other ways to abuse this card with flash. I just love it.
Somebody's swinging at you with their commander. You flash in clone and block with it.
That's right. That's right. I've used clones probably over 200 times minimum in my time playing Magic. When I first started playing Magic, I didn't really know how to use clones, but you really want to be thoughtful about how you cast them and what you're cloning. Don't always think about the maximum power, think about the maximum ability gain and net gain you're going to gain from what you clone. That's the main key to remember when you're playing Magic, and I just love clones because you can just use your opponent's deck against them, and it's awesome, and it wins me games so often. So highly recommend, if you're playing a blue deck, always put at least one clone in. They will save your life.
Yeah, honestly, I can't tell you how many times he's cloned stuff of mine. It's heartbreaking, especially if he clones your commander, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm not playing your deck, but now I have your commander, a copy of it, and he outpaces you with it. It's not disheartening, but it makes you sit back and go, oh my god, why do I not have one of those in my deck?
Yeah, I just love doing it. I just love it. Some of my favorite clones are Progenitor Mimic, Mirror Maid, but that one clones an artifact or enchantment, but still, it's so good.
Yep.
Well, that's all we got for this episode for the packs that we opened. Next, what are we opening next time, do you think?
What do you want to open next time?
I think we were thinking about Thronable Drain, because then we can talk about going on adventures.
Yes, the adventure mechanic. I was so excited when they had that.
So good.
Oh, because honestly, I'm just going to give a little tidbit about the adventure mechanic right now. It's a creature card, but it also has a sorcery or an instant ability on it. You cast a sorcery or instant ability, which sends it on an adventure, exiling it. But while it's in exile, you can cast that creature card for its converted mana cost to come back into play.
Yeah, the reason why that's so good is because, again, options in Commander, maximum value. So you use the instant sorcery, and then later on you have a creature that's just sitting over here, out in exile. No one can get rid of it from graveyard. They can't get rid of it from your hand. So it's just backup.
Yep.
One of my favorite adventure cards is Fae of Wishes. Abused it.
Yeah, you really do abuse it. I actually have too many. Hypnotic Sprite is my favorite because it's a counter spell and it's a 2/1 flyer.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
For 2. Yeah.
Anyways, yes, that's the end of the episode, I think, for today.
Yep. Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you next time on Beyond the Pack.
Stay safe.